Welcome back, everybody. It's Andrew here. So, we've got some big updates from Bernie Sanders. This is regarding the filibuster change that Democrats are trying to do, which could pave the way to do multiple smaller packages, whether that be things like voting rights, immigration, Social Security increases, stimulus checks for seniors. So, this is going to have a huge impact on all of these things. So, let's take a look and watch this clip from Bernie Sanders. But before we jump into it, do me a quick favor, hit like, hit subscribe, and as always, share this content with anyone who you think might find this helpful. And if you really want to support our work, consider becoming a channel member. The link to that is going to be in the comments of this video, and all you have to do is click that link and then hit join. So Bernie Sanders is calling out Democrats Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema for not helping Democrats change the filibuster rules, and this change would allow them to do multiple smaller packages throughout the year instead of just doing one massive budget reconciliation, and this would really make it easier to do things like just do a stimulus check for seniors separately, just do Social Security increases separately, just do Medicare expansions separately, instead of doing a massive bill which becomes even more difficult to compromise on. Multiple smaller bills would surely result in more things getting done. Now, unfortunately, Democrats still need 51 votes to get this done, which means they need Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin to get on board. And with Chuck Schumer planning to bring this to a vote this week, Manchin and Sinema have both signaled that they're not on board to do this. So Bernie took the Senate floor, slamming both of these senators, urging them to support Democrats to get these changes done. And again, this would really pave the way to getting all of these increases done that we talk about on this channel. Social Security, SSI, SSDI, Medicare increases, all of these things would be much easier to get done if the filibuster rules were changed. So let's take a look and see what Bernie said. Folks, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And later on today or tomorrow, I will be making a video dissecting every single thing Bernie Sanders said and what we expect to happen next. So thank you so much for watching. Let's take a look, see what Bernie said, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Is changing the Senate rules a radical idea? Oh my God. First time in history we're about to do it. Never been done before. Oh, well, really, not quite. No, as every member of the Senate knows, the rules get changed on a fairly regular basis. Nothing radical about it. Just a few months ago, in order to raise the debt ceiling and prevent our government from defaulting on its loans, the rules were changed so that a 50-vote majority would prevail. Mr. President, let me begin by thanking a number of my Senate colleagues who have worked so hard on this issue. Let me thank, among others, Senator Merkley, Klobuchar, Booker, Warner, King, Leahy, Durbin, Kane, and others for their efforts on this important issue. Mr. President, I will be brief because there is not a whole lot that I can add to the excellent statements that so many other senators have made, but let me just say this. For some, the issue we are debating today may seem complicated, to be understood only by lawyers, constitutional scholars, and those handful of people who actually understand the opaque rules of the U.S. Senate. So I just want to say that if that is what you think, you're wrong. What we are debating today is not complicated. It is really quite simple, and here is what it's about. Joe Biden won the 2020 presidential election, period. You may have liked that result, or you may not have liked it, but he won. He won in an election that Donald Trump's own Department of Homeland Security determined to be the most secure election in American history. After the election, Trump and his supporters filed more than 60 lawsuits in state and federal courts, repeating their false claims and trying to reverse the election results. These lawsuits were rejected time and time again, including with judges that Trump himself appointed. Nonetheless, the former president continued to claim, and to this day continues to claim, despite all of the evidence, that the election was stolen and that he actually won in a landslide. Not only are his statements and actions delusional, they are worse. In repeating this big lie over and over again, he not only cast doubts about the 2020 election, but in fact, in a disgraceful and unprecedented way for a president, he is undermining the very foundations of American democracy. Shamefully, Republican leaders all across this country, including Republican members of the U.S. Senate, either repeated Trump's lies or tried to walk a very, very thin line around them. Trump's one-man dominance over the Republican Party is now so strong that few Republican officials are prepared to state openly what they know in their hearts to be true. And that is that Trump is a pathological liar and a threat to democracy in this country and our very way of life. In any case, the predictable result of all of this was that Republican governors and legislatures all over this country saw Trump's big lie and fear-mongering as an opportunity, a golden opportunity, to solidify their political positions. They proceeded to pass election laws in 19 states that make it harder for people to vote, with a special focus on people of color, young people, poor people, and people with disabilities, people who might be inclined to vote against them. This enormously important bill will fail. It will fail because, according to Senate rules, it will require 60 votes to pass, and in a 50-50 Senate, not one Republican will vote for it. It will likely get 50 votes, which, with the vice president casting the tie-breaking vote, would be enough to pass this legislation under majority rule. It will not get 60 votes. All of which brings us to the second vote, which is really the most important vote of the day. That vote will determine whether anything we discuss today, whether any of the speeches that we give, any of the points that we actually make, will in fact become law. And that is the vote to change Senate rules and establish a talking filibuster, a process which gives the minority an enormous amount of time to object to legislation and voice their concerns. The minority, whether it is a Democratic minority or a Republican minority, would have days and days and days to slow the process down, to rally the American people around their ideas. But they would not have forever. At the end of the time allotted, a majority vote would prevail, which in my view is what a democratic society is all about. Is changing the Senate rules a radical idea? Oh my God, first time in history we're about to do it. Never been done before? Oh, well, really not quite. No, as every member of the Senate knows, the rules get changed on a fairly regular basis. Nothing radical about it. Just a few months ago, in order to raise the debt ceiling and prevent our government from defaulting on its loans, the rules were changed so that a 50-vote majority would prevail. We changed the rules appropriately, and we prevented a default and a massive worldwide depression. Just a few years ago, my Republican colleagues who were so adamantly against changing rules, well, my goodness, they changed the Senate rules to allow 50 votes to confirm the president's nominees to the Supreme Court. Oh, my goodness, how shocking. and they got 3 conservative Supreme Court justices as a result. Rules get changed around here all of the time. And maybe, just maybe, we might want to change the rules in order to save American democracy. Now, let me conclude by saying this, and I don't know if any of my other colleagues have made this point, but I will. I regard it as a very sad day for our country, and I mean this very sincerely, that not one Republican in this body is prepared to vote for this bill. Now, I understand why that is the case. I am in politics. I got it. I know who the leader of their party is. But this I do not understand. I can understand Republicans, but this I do not understand. I do not understand why 2 Democrats who presumably understand the importance of the Freedom to Vote Act, and as I understand it, will vote for the Freedom to Vote Act, are not prepared to change the rules so that that bill could actually become law. That I do not understand. If you think this bill makes sense, and if you're worried about the future of American democracy, and if you're prepared to vote for the bill, then why are you wasting everybody's time and not voting for the rule change that allows us to pass the bill? You know, it's like inviting somebody to lunch, putting out a great spread, and saying you can't eat.